Okay, folks, trying to get here as early as I can. It's just shy of 6 o'clock here on Thursday, and we kind of left off yesterday kind of on a sour note, and I have an update for you guys on the Wagon situation. And let me just say, if you guys do an unboxing video on a couple of Wagons I ordered, and one of them did not have all the pieces. It didn't have this main piece, which is pretty integral, considering it is the main hull where all the other pieces attached to it. And I was really bummed out because one of them didn't have it. So I ended up contacting the seller, and actually at the time of this video, I still haven't heard back from them. So the problem is this is the next thing I wanted to work on, this army, and I wasn't going to be able to. I was going to have to just set it aside because I can make this piece, but I don't want to start building one of them and then realize that the person that sold it doesn't have another one in stock or something like that. And I was going to have to go back and take it apart to manufacture this piece. I want to have the dimensions of this piece if I have to make two of them so that it's the same. It doesn't have to be exactly this dimension. It just I just need to be able to have all the pieces here to manufacture it. So I haven't heard back from the seller, but I did get an email from a nice lady who works for alternative armies. I didn't even contact them, and she said the lady's name was Nancy, and she said that she heard about my problem. She had seen my video, and which is strange. I guess they're following me. I better watch out what I'm talking about. No, I bought some stuff from them about a year ago, my Burgundians, and I like their company. I got the stuff really quick, really happy with it. I didn't even contact them, and they said they would send the piece out as soon as they could for replacement. What that means now is I can work on one of the Wagons. I don't have to wait on both of them because I really want to put one of them together and kind of figure out how it goes. So thank you, Nancy. I'll be looking forward to getting that. And once we get that piece in, because I said I did an unboxing video, but it kind of ended at a bad note. And I don't think it's something somebody did on purpose. It's just, stuff happens, but it's one piece that it's not very useful to me. So, but anyways, I get that piece in, we will put that unboxing video, and I promise you, these guys will look really good. So, we'll have pictures of these all over the place. And, I use manufacturers from everybody. And I actually kind of go out of my way to use manufacturers who don't have a big presence of pictures on the net because, you don't need to see any more Zyston figures, okay? Everybody knows what they look like. Everybody has pictures of them painted. But some of these other products, there's some of a picture presence. So I get a bigger kick out of using this alternative armies. I think these are old tabletop ones. I'm not sure how old these molds or how long they've been around, but it looks like a good product. So let's put one of them together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set all these little horses, and I'm sure we'll find a use for them aside, and we'll set all this aside and clean up some flashing, and and do that. So let's get the X-Acto knife out. I'm gonna try not to get too excited so that we don't have a snafu on getting to contact them. That's excellent, Nancy. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. So anyhow, let's part of the deal. I make these guys look really cool, and there's let's make sure that we don't have all the pieces there. Okay, so we're going to clean this hull up. That's the first thing we're going to do. Let's get a little file out here because we may need to file some of this stuff off. Well, where's my little file? I think that one's overkill. I have a very small one. Hey, good thing I'm organized, right? I hate to see what it'd be like if I wasn't. Let's probably the other place it could be. I could do it without a file. I ain't scared. I didn't have a file for a long time, and I actually don't know where the hell I got this. These are old these are very old. Okay. All right. Now let's see if I can manage to not get my big fat head in the way here. Let's put this at more of an angle to make it more difficult for me to stick my noggin in the way, and loosen this. Like I said, I don't have a cameraman. I kind of need one, but then I wouldn't be. You know, I could give them all of my winnings here off this channel, and it wouldn't make a difference here. I think that's about right. Let's see if we can tilt this a little more. Okay, that's a little better. All right, so that way it's going to be really hard for me to get my noggin in there. I get my head in it when you realize that I'm painting in with my nearsightedness. So, you know, without glasses on. So, all right, let's do that, and I'll look up from time to time to see if there's any questions. At this distance, I'm probably about a foot and a half from the phone, and I can't. First, this is important. Is it's going to be on a 40 by 40 stand, okay? And I'm going to set it up sideways like this. That's what the intent is. Version that's open on the opposite side, okay? And let's clean up the wheels first. And there we go. How about that? Let's clean up the wheels first. More power. All right. Whee! Let's not lose a wheel. Doesn't have to be perfect. So these war wagons, supposedly, these are Hussite war wagons that are going to be used in the Hungarian army, because apparently, unbeknownst to me, this is why I do historical gaming, right? Because you learn stuff, even though your intent is not to learn stuff. It's just gaming. But in doing the research for these guys, you can't avoid finding out real information. And so this army is a mercenary army for the most part. And some of the mercenaries that Matthias got, and this is where the war wagons came from. So it made sense to use Hussite war wagons. And the only difference is that, you know, there's some variations to them. The Germans ended up using some war wagons as well, and I think they're traditionally more of the kind that have like a mantlet on them that they could fight around. The Polish ones tended to be protected. I showed some of those the other day that I have made by Essex. They have the panels over the horses also. So, but in DBA 3.0, you no longer have to mount war wagons on a clunky 40 by 80 stand. You can mount them on a 40 by 40. So I am not going to be putting the horses on the stand. And the reason for doing that is I think it looks better and it's more representative of how it fights. when you base these guys on a 40 by 80, which is basically two of these, the way you put is you put the wagon here and then you would put the horses up here. But the problem is as you move forward, you end up shooting out of the front, but the guys that are mounted in the wagon are aiming like shooting out of the side. So you've got the natural side that they would shoot out of, there's no one facing it. They're only facing one side, so nobody's facing the other side either. It's just really weird. So if you do this, then I can call the front edge the one everybody's facing towards. And yes, they'll move this way even though the wheels are facing perpendicular to it, but I think it's going to be easier to bring it across that what is the fighting edge of the war wagon. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I've played with other people's war wagons that are based on 40 by 80, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying. So that's a nice change they made in 3.0 from 2.2 plus, 2.2 and 2.2 plus, but that's that's just a variant of the 2.2. But speaking of variants, I know people seem to be asking me more and more, and I don't want to really go into depth. I think it probably deserves to have its own video. So then when I get asked again, I can just point them, hey, check this video out, and I'll, bear with me. But a lot of people have asked me, when I'm going to make the DBA-RRR compatible version that uses DBA 3.0. Okay, because DBA-RRR, Renaissance, Reformation, and Restoration is a little thing we started working on it in 2009, worked on it for a couple of years, till I think the latest version's for 2011, and DBA 3.0 came out, and I think we started playing it in late 2014 or something like that. I haven't made the compatible version, and there's a couple reasons for it. I'll just end up repeating myself in the video, but since nobody's asking me any questions, I will just ramble on. So anyhow, the short answer is there will not be a DBA-RRR version that's 3.0 compatible. Okay. Because what I'm getting at is if I do go to work on my Renaissance stuff, it'll feel like, like you're still playing DBA. As a matter of fact, it should feel better than regular DBA because I'm going to take the opportunity to work on some things that have never sat well with me in DBA. But it's a ways off because I think that right now we're better served with the new people that are learning DBA and just continuing to do DBA 3.0 games, DBA 3.0 videos. I like these painting videos because, some people are being entertained by it other than me. I don't know how, but I mean, they're probably doing the same thing, working on their hobby. But this gets me to get other things completed, which allows new armies to come on the field, and you guys get to see some battle play videos, okay? So that's really my focus. Rules. I don't buy rules just to learn them and stuff like that, just because I want to learn new rules. But I really do like the Renaissance period. So it's not going to be a matter of fact of just translating some units over and and then you've got a 3.0 version of Renaissance. And to hammer that home, it will not be called RRR anything. Okay, so that's just for ease of understanding. Okay. RRR is done with the 2.2 version. Now, a couple other things I'm going to throw in there. I'll probably end up going over this in the video as well. Like I said, I don't mind doing a video that kind of explains everything. So it seems like every week somebody's asking me, hey, when are you going to come out with the rules for it? There's not going to be a 3.0 compatible version. I'm not going to do it. In the initial version of the Renaissance rules, a lot of things were just shoehorned in. Okay, it's a mod that tries to cover everything from 1500 into 1700 in a mod, and it's just not really the feel of the period is going to get lost in that. Okay, it deserves better than that. Likely that the stuff from 1600, in other words, if you end up being something that you use in a tournament, you don't want to put armies from 1650 fighting armies from 1525. It just isn't going to work. Okay. they're not going to be balanced well. And that's not really what the focus is going to be. It's going to be more like if you want to recreate certain battles and stuff like that. So, so yeah, it's not going to be strictly 3.0 compatible, and but it is going to be a mix. But it's always away. You know, it still will be free. But you know, for the longest time, I stopped working on it because a couple of things happened. The first thing that happened is Renaissance. When we started working on RR, everybody was playing 2.2. It was in 2009. There was no doubt about we were playing anything else. But since then, the community has been split for different reasons. So I feel that to further split it into people doing different rule sets just didn't seem correct. I don't know if I was supposed to cut that piece off, but I'm going to, damn it, because it just seemed out of place. Okay, so right now having the videos of showing how we play the battles is really probably more useful from that standpoint. Let's see. Let's take some thickness off of this thing. I'm going to paint this like it's all wood anyways, but it's a little thicker there. Take a little bit of this here. I said I originally came up with it because I wanted to play Renaissance stuff. That's really what I wanted to paint, and that's what I wanted to play. And since nobody was playing Armati anymore, I actually started to play Armati. To want to play Armati, that's what got me into it. And then as soon as I started getting into it, the local Armati players just went away and died. So I never really got a chance to play that. But anyhow, so that was the original thing. But to try to shoehorn all the periods into one, because a lot of people were like, you know, oh, why do they really want to do English Civil War? And you know, you're not going to do the period service if you're going to start working on something that's generic, that you can incorporate everything, Italian wars and the English Civil War all in one. Okay, that doesn't mean that they won't have common ideas, but as far as, you know, the weapons capabilities and stuff, you can't, you know, it would be throwing too dissimilar. So that's one thing, is it's not going to be shoehorning the whole period into the thing. And at first, for those of you that are really interested in English Civil War, I apologize. When I start to work on it, that's not going to be my focus. I'm not interested in the 1600s as much. I'm a 1500s kind of guy. That doesn't mean we can't add it into later on, but that's not my focus. Okay. Anyhow, other things. Not going to focus on you know, the Renaissance mod. Let's just call it R3 because it is kind of cumbersome to call it RRRRRRRR. Okay, R3 was created as a simplified version of playing DBR. DBR uses, for like a pike and shot element, individual shot elements and individual pike elements that are all put together to make one large unit. Like if you're using a tercio or something like that, it's made up of multiple stands. That will not be the case anymore. Even more so, pikemen will not be two different stands backing each other up. I envision, I don't want to give anything away because we haven't really play tested it, but you could have a unit of Swiss pikemen and it'll be mounted on a 40x40 and it may end up having 12 guys on the stand. But something along the lines, but you're not going to have these loose pike elements that are no good unless you back them up with another thing. So mixed pike and shot elements, they will all be one stand for simplification, okay? And like I said, we're going to create this rule set for us. If other people happen to like it, more power to them. It's going to be free. I'm not going to force anybody you have to play a certain way, but you know, it's going to be like, hey, we developed these rules for our group. We like them. Here they are, you know? So, but anyhow, it definitely will have gameplay. It'll definitely have pips, and it will also Definitely have the separate leaders. We all enjoy that. So if you played R3, you know what that's like. And what else? That's the stuff. That's the stuff for sure. Oh, it'll have opposing roles, so it's not going to be one of those things where one guy shoots and you won't have any reply role. That's also integral to DBA type games. So, but the focus is going to be like it's going to feel more like a real battle than how DBA feels now. DBA feels like it's a great game, but I don't feel like when I'm doing a cavalry charge that I'm really moving cavalry. It still feels chess-ish. I use that loosely, but that's one thing I've never enjoyed is the game doesn't feel like it should feel. It's a good game. It's a hell of a great game. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been playing it exclusively since 2004. But you know, it's to fix those little things on there. So anyhow, that's all I'm going to say about that. I could probably go in a little bit more detail, but you know, I'm going to probably make a separate video specifically for that because there's a lot of people that constantly keep asking me, and you know, what the timetable of when it's going to get done, who the hell knows? Okay, R3 was created when the economy was really, really slow. Was the least amount of stuff was going on at that time, and now it's like it's busier and busier every day. So maybe it'll never get done, you know. But you know, that's my thoughts on it anyway. So maybe somebody will come up with a set of rules that's better than what we would come up with, and we'll play that instead. But it's got to be on this. It's got to be on a DBA-sized game for me to be interested in it. It's got to be, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly 12 elements on 12 elements, but you know, it can't be 30 on 30. I won't have any part of that. That's just too much. That's too much painting. So. Anyhow, where the hell do we go next? So we've got, so this here, let's clean this up because this is going to fit on there. And I got to be careful when I cut this down. I don't want to go all the way to the end and take the top of this little piece off because that would be sad. That would be sad. So we're going to put, this is going to get attached here. Of course, we're going to epoxy all this stuff together so it fits in there nicely. We don't have to worry about it breaking apart. And then the opposite side has one long piece which fits on this side. And then the short one which fits on this side. And it'll actually line up with this piece of wood. It's here. There's a little bit of it down here. And there's an opening. And that opening, you end up having this piece that is like a board, step, something like that for you to walk up on. All right, well, we got this. An axle goes on this side. And then the other side goes, the axle is built into the trunnion. I think that's what those things are called. The thing that the wagon gets pulled on. I'm flying blind here, folks, okay? I'm just going on gut instinct. I've looked at the pictures and, you know, yeah, so we're gonna have the wheels like this, okay? And they get glued on here. And then this little trunnion looks like it's got, looks like it's got a little round piece here that fits in here. And then these wheels fit on that, okay? Obviously, we're going to clean it up. And then we're going to disable this. We're not going to have this piece on there because I don't think there's a way I can mount it and then jackknife it enough that it'll still fit on the 40 by 40. Let's take a look at this. I don't think I can still mount this. Yeah, I can't. And then jackknife this enough so that it fits underneath there. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it down here, and because we don't want that sticking out past the stand, okay? And it'll just be, hey, it'll be a special wagon that has a quick release piece on it, okay? We don't want, we want that separate. That's how we're going to go. So Hey Kelly, how you doing? You hate gluing metal miniatures together on the scale. Um, I don't mind it. So you don't like the two-piece elephants from Essex, right? They'd probably drive you crazy. I use epoxy. I don't have to worry about it. Joe asked a question here. Hold on a second. What did Joe say? Change of topic. What is the primer you are using from Vallejo? This stuff. Dude, this stuff's awesome. Surface primer. It's available on Amazon. Some people don't like Amazon. I do. They get things quicker here than they say they are. So they'll be here on Friday, and you get it on Wednesday. So I like Amazon. I mean, I'll go to the local store and buy it, but the local store doesn't have it. So, because I don't want to wait any time at all. I mean, if I'm going to save 20%, I'm not going to mail order it. I'll buy it at the store. But the problem is the stores just don't have the stuff. So, yeah. So we're gonna. I don't mind. I don't mind gluing metal stuff together, but I'm going to have to do it in phases. So that's what we're here to do. Now, this is two pieces, so I guess you could probably put an opening on both sides, but we're not going to do that. We're going to have the opening only on one side. So we're going to put that piece apart. We're not going to use that one. We're not going to use this one. Okay. I'm not sure. These are like little shooting spots. A lot of this I'm going to have to figure out as I go. So for starters, we're going to make sure that the flash is cleaned, and we're going to glue this here, and we're going to glue the other two parts on the other side. We're going to have to do batches of the epoxy in order. So the only bad thing is if something were to happen to this and it hits the ground, this is going to weigh so much, and it's built in different pieces that it could fall apart. So that's the one thing about plastic miniatures. I don't like plastic miniatures, but they don't weigh very much. So it's very hard for them to hurt themselves by their own mass. So that's my science. That's my science lesson for the day. I'm not a science guy, but I'm a map guy. So I'm a map guy even more than a history guy. All right. Let's see. This is why I don't cut on this thing, because I would have ruined it right there. I'm very protective of my cutting mat, even though I didn't even buy it. It was gifted to me. But these things are expensive. They're like $30 freaking or something like that. I'm like, I'm gonna take care of something that costs $30. So, and I don't want to see it ruined because I got to look at the damn thing. So. Those of you that have a painting, one of these cutting things that you paint on, that drive me crazy. I couldn't live with you. So, hey, everybody's anal retentive in their own way. And no, my socks are not organized perfectly. It's just this. Okay, so that's a waste of time. All right, so let's make sure all these pieces are flash free, or as flash free as we can, because we're going to have to glue one thing in after another when we do get to the gluing phase. All right, and that one looks about right. Where are my two halves? Let's check them out and make sure they're okay. Right, this one goes over here. And this one here looks like this one fits out okay. Let's do a little bit of a trim here on the edge. I could have just made these out of wood also, little pieces of balsa, but I want them to be, I don't want to spend all that time doing this. I'm going to spend, if you've seen my painting, I spend enough time on that as well. So, all right, so the first thing we're going to do is let's make sure this fits in here just fine. Well, we need to trim this off. There's some flash on here. Flash totally has to do with how many times the mold's been used, and I have a feeling these guys have been around for a while. They've made a lot of models with them, so they've got some flash. I mean, nothing I'd be worried about. It's coming off easy enough as it is, but That's interesting. This side doesn't have, it's not drilled all the way in. Well, by God, we've got drill bits. We have ways of drilling you. Now, I rarely use drill bit bigger than that one, but this is going to be one of those opportunities that let's see. Let's look at one of these. It's already, yeah, it's a little too big. Let's go a little shy first before we make something we can't repair. Oh, I get to use this side, which I never do because it's much larger. Let's just take this little guy off. Now, all right, where's our candidate? Yay, fumble fingers. Where'd it go? Ah, crap. Well, I tell you what, we'll just grab one from the other wagon. It probably fell in the bag there. I have empty bags, so that might take me a week to find it. All right. So it goes, right? I knew this wouldn't be quick. This is multifaceted. All right. As we were, now we don't have to drill this one out, right? Exactly. Okay. Let's go back to cleaning this thing up and I think war wagons are used by very few armies, so making them in metal is the only economic solution. Resin casts of metal models generally are pretty horrible. Yeah, I don't like resin at all. It's got those damn bubbles. Got those damn bubbles, so. All right, so let's make sure this fits okay. Okay, we're good there. Good. Good. Now, news is, I thought this was the other one. No, this is the correct one. All right, we're going to take this off completely. Okay, I'm going to come in here and clean this flash off, and then clean this flash off. Make sure I don't damage that, or I'm going to be hating life. Doesn't mean I can't fix it. I'm just going to be spending a lot of time doing something I don't want to do. So there looks like there's a connection here and a connection here. So I'm going to break this right at that connection. Okay. Now, this is all underneath. I don't really need to worry about this too much, but some of this is going to be showing. So I'm going to get rid of this little mold mark there. Okay, because it'll just end up drawing attention to itself, which is unnecessary. Okay, and same thing here. If I was really anal retentive, I could drill a hole through here and put a peg where it looks like the other piece attaches through a peg, but look, this isn't a working model, okay? So on this side, we're going to glue this. Oh, we need to make sure that these tires. No, there's no tires. All of these fit in here just fine. Okay. All right, let's go mix us up some epoxy. I'm used to where they used to be. I had it there for so long that I moved my little cart, and things are a lot more organized now than they used to be. So, okay. Yeah, what I'm really looking forward to these guys is painting the war wagon. So, I love painting things that are wooden to make them look wooden when they're not wooden. Did you get all that? Where is a toothbrush that nobody loves anymore? Here it is. Sir Goopy. Make sure that we have this going here. All right. Sir Goopy. Yeah. Only reason I'm using this brush, and I had already used it for glue or something like that, and it's about worthless. All right, cool. Now we got something that's a little bit more precise. All right, now we'll mix this stuff together. It's a little bit more precise. All right, now we'll mix this stuff together. And we're going to draw this like this. This is going to be multiple steps. And none of this will have any super glue whatsoever. Super glue just isn't dependable. This is heavy duty. We want gap filling stuff, and not even super glue. The problem with super glue is strong, but it's very brittle. So you get any kind of tensile stress on it, and bam, it just cracks and pops right off like it was never glued. And then you got to re-glue it. You got to take all the old super glue off. So I'm much happier with epoxy. All right, so we're going to put this here. We're actually going to do one other thing too. I best not do that. We're going to end up gluing a screw on here. And what I mean by that is, I got one of them around here. There we go. We're going to end up, I've got these screws that I've screwed into a, comes to painting them, I'll be able to glue it on here and paint all around it, okay? But I can do that at a later stage. Oh. Okay, let's hurry up and glue that axle. Anyway, so that's what we'll do at a later stage, is to glue that on. So I don't think it matters which way up is on this. We're just going to go ahead and put it down. I've thought about getting epoxy that lasts a little bit longer, but the problem is sometimes you want it to set. See, look how it just oozed all over the place there. You want that. That's good for binding. Now we're going to make sure this is set before we go and put wheels on it, and it ends up weighing this thing down. Okay. got 4 tires here. We're gonna have to mix this. We're gonna have to mix more epoxy, but that's just one of those things. Not a big deal. But it's multi-step, and if you've ever built those Essex elephants, you know those are a royal pain in the butt because you got to put the 2 halves together. Yeah, you got to put the 2 halves together, and if you use super glue, you really want something that's gap filling because there's a little bit of some of that the joint showing. And then when you've got that together, then you got to put the head on the front. And then when you're done with that, you got to put like a howdah on there, which is pushing against it. It's wanting to open at the same time. So yeah, definitely epoxy is the way to go with those jokers. So, but I've used this a lot. This is, I'm not sure how many ounces these are. They're 125 milliliters, 4¼ ounces each. I've glued so many things with it, and I've maybe used 15% of the bottle. So this is the way to go. Not that syringe type thing where you waste so much. You know, even with this, I'm still wasting it. You know, there's nothing you can. Let's see, we got anything else? No. All right. Let's give this a little bit of time here to set. See, this is if I was doing 2 of them, I could have glued the other one, but you know, I'm not worried about it. I'm glad that they responded back, and hopefully. We can get it in a timely fashion. So. I'm going to do something impatient. Let's see if I can do a 2-for-1 on this. Okay, now I don't want to put the pressure up and flip it upside down because then it'll end up looking weird, but maybe that could save us a step there in doing that. And it should be able to fit on here just, yeah. Anywho, right. So yeah, it is a multi-step type thing, and you know, it's not necessarily the quickest thing in the whole thing. Now, these things do have sides, but I have a feeling this is like a roof for it. But I'm not going to do mine that way. I'm going to have the side come down because we're going to have logos and stuff on it. So. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so when it comes down to painting this thing, I've got to mount this on something like this so that I'm not touching it or what have you while I'm while I'm trying to get all around it. So we're going to go back to letting this sit like this, and yeah, come back to it. We're going to switch gears a little bit, and let's put this stuff away. We can put that other wagon over there. Got to remember to look for that wheel. Sure, it's here somewhere. My area is pretty clean. I don't have good lighting. I usually, for a flashlight, I end up using a phone, and I'm filming with a phone right now, so that's kind of not compatible. So we'll come get it in the morning. So things fall on the ground, and the soft metal doesn't really make a sound. So well, we'll leave this one on there because whenever that wheel turns up, we're going to have to drill it to the larger size. Okay, and let's close this back up. Put this here. All right. Little bits of metal all over the floor. I've got tiles, so it all comes up. All right, let's get rid of the epoxy, and let's take a look at the Armati. The Armati guys that I have that just need scabbards. I got in the morning, so they're pretty much done. I just need to do these two. Okay, and all right. Are we starting to sing Three Wheels on My Wagon? No, that's like a Welsh party song. I don't know that one. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm not a singer. I can drink enough to dance, but I can't drink enough to sing. And you're welcome, because you don't want to hear me sing. You probably don't want to see me dance either, but anyhow. Painting my friend's Rap Man. Painting my friend's Hussites. Currently, slow version of Hussites for DBM. He wanted you to build 40. Well, remember, you're the painter. You could just say, no, I'm going to build them on 40 by 40s and don't tell him. If I needed to build them on 40 by 80s, what I would do is I would build it as two stands, and I'd put the horses on one of them where I could remove it. But I don't know how it works in DBM. It's probably all one unit, but I'm never playing DBM or DBMM. That's just, you know how many games I'd have to play to get it half right? It's just too many. I don't mind playing it. I would play the smaller version of the rules, whatever, DBM M100, but somebody's got to run the game, you know. I don't want to. I can't learn new stuff. I can't be point and figure things out. I've lost too many brain cells already trying to figure this game out. And this is a simple game for 8-year-olds, right? Wagons ho, that's right. Hey, Kevin. It felt like Arizona here today for sure. It's hot. We got a couple of days of cool weather, and that was a tease. So hopefully we don't. I don't want to do another game video on a hot day. You know, it's and I also don't. But the phone picks up everything. So and my doesn't work with my new phone. It's not compatible. And I'm not buying another mic. That's just I'm not going to go there. So okay, so this thing's all right. Damn it! Just when I put it away. All right, put this back. That's what we're here for. We're here for war wagonage. See, I don't have a lesson plan for my painting nights. You never know what's going to happen. Now, I just made a mistake. I threw in the one that I cleaned up with the other parts. So I just have to figure out which are the ones that I cleaned up. This is that one's not been touched. It's not been touched. Maybe it was this one. Damn it! I can't take me anywhere. just take... Where the hell did it go? The one I had cleaned up. It's not that one. It's one of the small pieces. Was it this one? It's not very cleaned up, if that's the one. Yeah, I think this was the one. Why did a shitty job of it? And maybe I should have built everything and then flipped it over, then put the tires on it. Oh well. Hey, we'll figure that out on the next one. See, this is why I do this hobby stuff in the mornings. I do my best hobby work on Saturdays, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, because I have a fresh mind, not one that's been turned to jello from dealing with work problems. So. But no, you want to watch my video, not Price is Right reruns, so there you go. All right. This one, I believe, is the one that was cleaned off. And neither is this one. What the hell did I do? Maybe I missed this little spot here. All right. This goes on this side. This is more challenging to put together than the Cherry, I'll tell you that right now. The Essex one is the all one piece. It has the thing in the sides, but it didn't have the right shape. And a big push to buy these is because I wanted to get them soon. I didn't want to wait for across the pond shipment because I tend to always order from the manufacturer. So, because I don't want to place an order for multiple items and then they don't come in. So, when I had bought stuff from Alternative Armies last year, I ordered it directly from them. Yeah, I'd be cussing up a storm if I had put this together with super glue. But I've fallen out of favor with super glue for a long time now. I don't think it's worth a damn. It's good for gluing guys to stands. That's what I use, but I don't use it for anything else. It's just you know. Just watch one of my favorite war movies, Tora, Tora, Tora. Yeah, it's a lot better than the new Midway, that's for sure. I like Tora, Tora, Tora. I saw it relatively recent, and my daughter watched it with me. I like the idea that they have to build like actual model ships and stuff. That's cool from them. You know, where there's a physical thing laying around that they had to make. So, yeah, it's cool. Could you show a close-up of one of the figures that you have painted so I can get a perspective of what mine should look kind of like after I paint my armies up? My first go at 15 millimeter, thanks. Well, let's see. I got these guys finished, but they're not on a stand. People hurt in the filming of Tor. What you're getting at, but I love those models. You know, they made like a Nagato, like in probably close to 1/72nd scale, pretty darn big. That's some talented people. I mean, we're freaking I'm a damn amateur compared to those people. Or how about the guys that built those? Remember Ben-Hur? They had the actual like the galleys and stuff like that. That's some cool stuff, man. That's some cool stuff. All right, let me show you some guys that. Well, if you go on this channel, there's videos that I've done on my Ottoman Turks and who else did I do? My Ostrogoths and my Sung Chinese. I've done a video on each of those with close-up pictures. You're going to see a lot better than in a video and a lot better than in 720. But here's some of my here. Try to get some light on them here. You know, and they actually look a lot more washed up than that. But you know, these are the guys that we're doing that I've used the last couple of weeks there, and these are some allies for them, some Norwegians. So, but you know, they should look like you said this is your first go at 15s, so you do another scale. They should just look like your other scale are. I mean, you know, they're not like if I did 28s, my 28s would look like my 15s. I wouldn't do 28s. I'd never be done with them. It did take me forever to get them done. So. All right. Let's see what we're left with here. And of course it dried up. We're going to have to mix other stuff or do the other sides here. Hey, it's just one of those things, you know, you just can't be in a hurry. You just can't be in a hurry. Strange, the wagons aren't, the wheels aren't even. So you've got a larger space on the ones in the back than you do the ones in the front. I think that might actually help you turn. I don't know. Let's mix some up for this side. Oh, this one's coming apart. Yeah, see, that wouldn't have happened with super glue. It would just boom, would have fallen off. I'm using this tiny piece of cardboard so I don't have to. All right, we'll mix this a little bit up. Now we're going to have to leave the step off because the step's not going to go on there until after we've painted the wagon and it gets laid on the stand. Because otherwise it's just kind of floating in midair. we're going to go ahead and reinforce. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce the inside of this side as well. But this will actually weigh something when you pick the stand. This is going to be a heavy stand. So, all right, so we got our pieces here. Did I pull out a piece that wasn't the right one again? Son of a biscuit eater. I need a chaperone. All right, let's see. It's going to go. Like so. And that one's going to go like so. Now, the picture I saw had a piece. I'm telling you, if you're not a patient person, you don't need to be building this. This is, I'd say, quite challenging for somebody who's not experienced. And I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but yes, you're falling down because I assembled you while you're too wet. Got it. What I was saying, there's a drawing that shows there's like a piece that goes over this that attaches one side to the other, and it didn't come with that, but I'm not so worried about that. I just want to make sure that we have a fighting side. It'll be this one over here. Will you stop falling down? I'm sure it'll do better when it's done. That's this side here. I think the hinges fit with this. That's exactly how it is. And then these surfaces end up being gluing surfaces. These spots here on here, and allow you to glue it to the side. So when it's plenty dry, we'll glue that on that side as well. Yeah, this is the reason against doing like a 10-minute epoxy, because then this time where I'm adjusting it is going to be even longer. Yeah, so this side is, and I didn't realize what this was until we got to this phase. The hinges match up here with it, and it's like this, and this will be the front edge. And of course, we'll have stuff that's painted on here, because we're not just going to have it wooden colored, and we're not going to have a war wagon that we can use for the Hussites or the Germans or the Hungarians. This is a Hungarian war wagon, so. It's a nice model, man. It's got a lot of pieces. It's not like this Essex one. Look, the bottom and the sides are all one piece. So, but this is the one that's like for the poles. Man, the wheels are a lot bigger than this one. It's okay to have different ones. We'll eventually do a later Polish army and have them on there. Okay, now is this thing pretty much glued on after 7? I gotta go check in with the girls and I'll be right back. Yeah, this is gonna have these folks inside of it. but they're not gonna be on these stands. We're gonna have them flat-footed inside there. And unfortunately, I don't have anybody left to stand up to see how they fit in there height-wise, but I could just pop a guy off, but I don't need to do that. So I'll be right back, folks. Okay. See if this thing didn't fall apart while I was gone. Two folks with no life watching me still. Cool. Awesome. We can be no lifers together. Oh, hold on. Let's see here. Oh, we got more comments. The Battle of Britain movie in 1966 used made up the Germans. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie. I know which one it is. I haven't seen it. I'm a World War II nut. I've never seen that movie. Yeah, it's got Robert Shaw in it, right? It's funny. I think of Robert Shaw. And I never think of him as a British guy because I grew up watching that darn Battle of the Bulge movie so many times, and that even though that movie has so many horrible things to it, I think he was cast perfectly as Hessler. I mean, just perfectly in that role. But anyhow, I grew up with that movie, and what was the other one? Guns and Avro. I watched Guns and Avro so many darn times. So anyhow, oh, there was one other thing. Let's see here. Cool. I'll check out your other videos. Absolutely. These are the sucky ones in 720p. The other ones are really good. You would rage quit. I think you're talking about putting this thing together. Yeah, it's this is taking some finesse. I'm okay with it. I looked at it and I'm like, son of a biscuit eater. This is going to be complicated, but you know, didn't catch me off guard. That's right. You couldn't do this with super glue, man. I'm telling you. You would just you'd throw this against the wall and come up with a few new curse words, you know. All right, so this part, so you've got it. I mean, I also don't have to put it on there, but it's kind of cool. This is the flap side down, and it's going to fit right here, flush up against it, okay? That's the next thing we're going to glue. But I think to glue that, I'm going to have to flip this thing on its side. Yeah, see, this is like multifaceted. You know, this is, and then you've got to make sure it's at the right angle, because if you're like this, it's going to want to slide off. Let's see. Let's do a couple of these. This is a good model, but it better not be your first rodeo, you know? You're going to be hating life. Just say, screw it. I'll build the Turks and have to fight these things instead of building them. When I do like a match pair against the Turks really have no way of dealing with these guys. I mean, other than the artillery piece, that can ruin this guy's day. Maybe that's the way to go, but I just assume use the skirmishers instead of these war wagons when they're fighting the Turks. So let's make sure this is dried sufficiently before we go and start doing calisthenics with this lead thing. Or pewter, or we call things lead even though they're not lead. It's not like we're going to lick our fingers after we're done with this. Make sure this fits on here. You see it's bent a tiny little bit, and that's enough to I wonder why it's not fitting on there. Flush. I guess some of it ends up touching the tire, though, the wheel. Okay, that's cool. Would you have rage quit by now? You have a wagon from my Sarmatian camp. Yeah. Is it multiple pieces like this one? This is an advanced model. It honestly says on their website that this is not for the. It doesn't say not for the weary, but you know, something to that effect. You know, don't buy this and bitch at us that you can't put it together. No, it doesn't say that, but you know, you can see that this takes a lot of tinkering. Now, the problem with this thing isn't what I'm doing right now. If this were ever to hit the ground, it's so heavy it would just go every which way. So, fortunately, I don't have a habit of doing that. So, now I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm not even going to attempt to put some of it down, because after this, what do we have left? Well, this is the other half that if I wanted to make them both closed, it's tapered. Maybe they want to put it over the horses or something like that. But then you got these little knickknacks here, which are normally like little firing ports. I don't know. I'm perfectly happy leaving it just with this other side flap down and move on. That kind of has a look that I'm happy with. So I just wanted to make sure it was a wagon that had the ends tapered. is I didn't want a square ass wagon like this one. It just didn't look like, you know, the look that I wanted. So, all right. No, oh no, not goopy enough. So we're gonna end up putting epoxy on those tabs, and we're gonna set it down, and we're gonna set it down. And we're gonna have to put some on these wheels. It'll look great when it's painted, I promise you that. All right, we're gonna put some here. We're gonna put some here. The two hinges together, because they're just not gonna have enough surface area to make a difference, and that stuff's just it's just gonna ooze out and just gonna get in my way. Okay, little wet spots where it's gonna go. So let's put one dot here on that tire, on that wheel. Keep calling it tire. There's nothing rubber on this thing. There's not even anything metal on it. They're gonna be all wooden tires, wooden wheels. Again with the tires. Damn it, man. It's not my fault. I'm from the 20th century. Make sure these hinges line up. Okay, good. Here. 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 As finicky as this is a lot less stressful than doing the Little Big Man Studios decals. Why? Because this is forgiving. The Little Big Man Studios decals, you screw them up, it's over. You're not going to be able to fix that one. So that's a lot more stressful. This is just, you just got to be painstaking and adjust this and put a little bit more goo. I don't find it very frustrating. It might be frustrating from the standpoint of, man, I thought I was going to be done with this in 5 minutes, and now it's taken 20, and I'm still not there. But it's forgiving. You mess it up, and you'll be able to fix it. So we're just going to let this little guy sit there and dry. Okay. And hopefully I can slide off here. Okay. This Joker's heavy, man. This Joker's really heavy. So we're gonna have to glue this when this is completely done to this screw to the bottom of it. Hopefully find a balancing point. And so we've got a way to grab it and stuff like that when we're primering it and so forth. So. So the plan is to put this across here, and this little door sits on there. So we want to make sure that the door still stays on the stand. So if the door's here, then the war wagon's got to be somewhere in this zone. And hopefully there's enough space on this side that I could put a couple of guys on the ground. Well, I showed you guys one of them the other night. The guys like the pavis. Here it is. Here's the paviseers. Show you one of them. And if I can't do it, then that's fine. It doesn't have to have these guys. Just kind of adds a little something. So. Yeah. Little guy up here on the ground. Probably not two. Otherwise, you put enough guys on this thing and you're wondering, man, why does it have such a low combat value? All those guys must be really shitty fighters. But just so much more that, you know, you've got some dismounted guys and things like that, of that nature. So, well, we're going to let this thing dry and yeah, we'll come back to it at a later point. We've got to make sure this is completely done before we go and glue this down to it. We do it underneath there, so by the time that we do that, and we do want to make sure that you could just end up popping this thing off. So I'd rather use super glue as opposed to epoxy. I don't want to epoxy this thing on there, so yeah. Anyhow, this is what the war wagon looks like. So, anyhow, let's put this back how it was. Let it sit, I don't know about overnight, but for a little while. And we'll catch you guys on the next time that we're on video. All right? So, hopefully you guys have a good night and catch you next time. Bye-bye.